Let me add one quick thing and then get to the question. There was one concept in this whole mess, and really is across the internet, regardless how, that I think, to me at least, strikes home a lot, and that is the concept of push versus pull. All right? And when someone pulls information, that means that they have done something to bring information to them. If you go on Google, Microsoft Bing, if you go online and do a search, you're pulling the results of the information to you. So you are actually actively going out and trying to find something. All right? On the other hand, if you subscribe to an e-newsletter, as all of you should, for example ours, we will push that to you. When we've created the newsletter, we will send it to you. Now, the interesting thing is that both parties are involved in the decision. We create the newsletter, we push it to the people who are willing to have it pushed to them, all right? Or it's online and people can go online and they can pull it themselves. But your strategy, you don't get to choose how people want to receive their information. And as often as not, it's the circumstance that they find themselves in. So they may see something that is up there on LinkedIn because of an action you've recently taken. Oh, that's interesting. I was thinking about that last month. Just as likely is, I didn't see that when it was first up there. Now I need it. How hard is it for me to find it? And you have to be aware of both those kind of things. And you had a point and you had a point, so you get first.
Should we be out there trying to increase our LinkedIn, going through the list of who it recommends and trying to connect to them? I mean, is that a worthwhile thing to do?
I think there comes about strategy. Go ahead. You were going to say.
Okay.
There's several different ways to look at it. I think it depends on your profession. If you're a headhunter, an executive recruiter, I think you'd want to be connected with as many people as possible because you can get to more people that way. I also think that maybe in a profession like yours, the folks that you're connected with might be your best referral network.
Yeah.
And you only want to connect to people you actually know pretty well.
Yeah.
That might make more sense for your business.
Okay.
And it's also personal preference as well. You may want to look for key individuals in certain areas and make sure that you have each type of industry covered that usually refers you.
Well, and on the flip side, when somebody tries, I've never said, no, I don't want to connect to a person.
Oh, I have.
I have too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I took it personally.
Yeah, well, I like to connect to people that I know, even if it's someone that I met here. That's right. If someone sent me a connecting request, if I didn't recognize your name or you didn't come up afterwards and said, I'd like to connect on LinkedIn, I might send something back to you to say, thanks for linking with me. I like to find out where I met you and put that in the notes section so that next time we converse, I'll remember who you are. Because I have over 1,000 folks, and I like to know who they are, but because I've met people at different places, acquaintances. And 2 years from now, as much as we had this great conversation and it meant so much, I can't remember, So I try to do that. But if it's someone that is from, I don't know where, and it doesn't make any sense, I usually just don't connect.
Well, to piggyback on that, take the time to personalize your recommendations. LinkedIn gives you the opportunity, right? LinkedIn gives you the opportunity. It automatically populates the email that's going to go out. And so often people click, how you're connected is friend. I'm sorry, I have no friends. So, I mean, if you know me well enough, you'll know why. But I have a lot of business connections that I adore. But if you have never met me or we've met once, a lot of people take offense. I mean, I understand. I don't take offense because I like a friend. But a lot of people take offense at that, and they will immediately ignore it if you click on friend. So first thing is you want to click on colleague, even if you haven't met, and click what business you're in, click your current title. Then take the time to fill out that email and say, I was in the audience at a recent speech, or I met you at a networking event,
right,
or I saw you online and I was just talking to so-and-so and they recommended that I needed to connect to you. Or on my LinkedIn profile it says you and I have 22 people in common. We don't know each other. How is that possible? some sort of a message, because like Chris, if you just use that regular message and say, I'd like to link to you, I will respond back and say, I'm old and feeble and I can't always remember. Help me remember how I know you. And if you respond back and say, you know, I was at the luncheon, that's great, I will link to you, I'd love that. But I've had people respond back and say, you just look like somebody I should be connected to. And I'm in Buffalo and I'd like access to your people. Well, aren't you sweet? But no, I don't want to link to you. So I say no as well. Yes.
Is there a type of danger on LinkedIn in particular by associating with only your clients? Because basically you're putting up a thing for the world saying, these are all my clients, please come pluck them away from me. Like if they know what you do for a living. I would think that a really savvy person can go after that person's contacts.
Actually, I don't really link to my clients. I link to other marketing people. I link to resources that I think would be helpful for me and for them to have, you know, reciprocal resources. But most of my clients are not linked to me on LinkedIn, believe it or not.
I would say if your links are exclusively that, you run the risk. However, if they are a subset, and here's part of the challenge is, you know, welcome to the 21st century, guys. The wonderful thing is now you can really share a lot of information. And the really horrible thing is, oh God, now you can really share a lot of information. And it has to be managed. It's similar like you're talking about putting books down. You may not want to put down all the books you really like to read.
Well, you be strategic about what books you put down.
Well, but that's the kind of thing, or the picture, or the whatever. And you know, how many of us have heard about the person with the Facebook who put on Facebook a picture that was really cool to their friends, not so much for somebody professional.
Well, I think that kind of brings up that, when you're marketing your business and how you do your linking on Facebook, you really should have a Facebook fan page. And everyone knows that, right? Don't use your personal Facebook profile for your business. Use your fan page and have people like it, and keep the business stuff on the fan page. And don't try to friend all the business folks with your personal profile.
Okay.
Okay, so
there you go.
Say you got your email newsletter, your blog, your e-zine articles, your Facebook. Is there a penalty imposed by major search engines for duplicate content, or is that a myth? How does that work?
You want to have original content. Now you can take, you had a great strategy there, Bob, on your slide, and I love it and I believe it, and I do the same thing, where you take an idea, you take a concept, you take a piece of advice, one little snippet, and you repurpose it. But to take the exact same words in the exact same form and use it in multiple places, that's not a good thing. So
you want to reword it.
Right. You can take an idea. You can take an idea like the idea of beefing up the headline for your LinkedIn. Okay. You can write a blog post about that. You can tweet about the fact that you blog posted about that. But then you can expand on it for an article, and you can take that article and have it be on eHow with a bunch of steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, eHow.com is a site where you can upload articles. You can rewrite it in an essay format for e-zine articles, or hub pages, like Norma may talk about that as a funnel, or Tumblr. Some of the other sites, you can take the same idea and the same information and rewrite it, but don't take the same article and word for word repurpose it. That's not a good thing.
There's two different schools of thought. Some people say, well, no, as long as you're the original author, you're okay. And some people like you say, well, no, you've got to reword it and change so X% of it to make it unique to the last thing you wrote. That's a lot of work to do that.
Well, I listened to Leslie Carruthers, who's the search guru, on Monday, because I don't know the answer to this, so I'm only going to repeat to you what I heard her say. You do not want to duplicate exactly good content. Good content, by its very nature, has to be unique. Otherwise, Google and Bing and everybody else don't like it.
And it's less work to repurpose something and rewrite it a little bit than it is to come up with a brand new thing for your e-news, and something else for your blog post, and something else for your Twitter, and something else for your Facebook. You just kind of rework it a little bit.
If I've written a 1,000-word article for something, I can pretty much just put it right here, and then it's all in my head, and I can write a 400-word article that I don't go into so much detail on. The words will be all different, but the concept just comes right out, and that I can get that done in about 5 minutes.
Here's another strategy that you can use. You start with that bigger piece, the 1,000-word article, and then on your blog or your e-newsletter, and Bob alluded to this, you can do a different opening sentence. So, just wanted to share information about this. As a matter of fact, I wrote an article about it with the 7 steps about how to do it, and then, quoting yourself, so you indent it into the blog, and you do the first couple of steps, and then for the full article, click here, and then you can click over there. So all you're really doing is rewriting an opening paragraph.
What about article spinners? Do you think that's a good approach to take, or no?
Like article spinners, you mean?
I guess it's a piece of software that'll take an article and rearrange it.
Yeah, Word has that.
Makes sense, of course. But
Have you ever gone into Word Tools and clicked on the Summarize button?
I never tried it.
If you have Word, up on the top you can go to Tools, and down below there's a word in the drop-down box called Summarize, and it gives you a couple of different options. And it's a computer doing it, so it determines what they think are the key points. Try it just to see how it comes up, and I think you'll find it takes less time to just write a new opening paragraph. I don't know. That's my opinion.
You had a point over there?
Well, you kind of moved on from the topic, but I get regular requests from people I don't know. And I just don't do anything with them, but is it better to decline it or just don't do it?
Okay, so if you get requests to
On
link
LinkedIn.
or whatever, is it better to decline it or ignore it? That's your. I'm just repeating it so people.
Yeah, I mean, these are people I don't even know, and I don't know why they want to connect with me, but I don't want to penalize them for attempting. But on the other hand, I really don't want to interact. And I look at their profile, and I'm clueless. And sometimes they send them a note and say, please refresh my memory how we met, and they don't respond.
Right.
I think you don't penalize them if you decline or you ignore, but if you click don't know, is that correct? You
Yes.
penalize them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Either was
they get like
something-
5
And you get
of those.
5 don't knows, and then
And then-
LinkedIn
Okay.
cuts them off.
Yanks you.
I don't want to penalize anyone for
Right.
trying, but I also don't want to
Yeah,
interact.
so ignore or decline would be appropriate.
The only thing with ignore is that people only have so many invitations that they can send out. And if you ignore it, it ties up their invitations. So, it doesn't hurt them in any way, except that if you only have 5,000 invitations over the course of your life with your free account on LinkedIn, and you've got 90 of them that somebody hasn't responded to, and they hit that limit, they're now, they have to manually go in, and that's something you should do anyway. Is you should go in to look and see at your invitations. You can see which ones have not been responded to, and you can click and send them again, or you can delete it, and then that will free up an invitation for you. But here's the beauty of social media. Social media is a social animal. It's all about building relationships and connecting. And I would see nothing wrong at all, except for the time it would take to respond and say, my strategy for LinkedIn is that I only connect with the people that I've personally met or that I interact with on a day-to-day basis. And so thank you for, but no. And and so you're responding so that you're at least connecting back to them. If they have an ulterior motive that you're not aware of, they're going to respond back and say, gosh, I appreciate that, but here's the reason why I wanted to link to you, because you and I, actually have a connection that maybe you aren't aware of. Or they'll just respect what you have to say and they'll move on. But it's an opportunity for you to connect and build relationships. Just like Norma said when we first got here, there are, a certain percentage of you that we've met before, that we've seen before, and the rest of you are wonderful people that we're wanting to meet and get to know. And it's the same way with the internet. And I think that's one of the reasons I love the Akron Blogger Group so much, because we have had people join us on the Akron Blogger Group that have never met us, but heard one of us tweet or leave a message on LinkedIn, and they were doing a Google search around the words blogging and Akron, came up with our event, and they just show up. And it's been a great way to watch that group evolve over the last, 4 years we've been doing it now?
4 years. Yeah.
So
Time goes on, doesn't it?
it does. Ticks along.
I think you had a question.
No, it's more of a statement.
Okay.
On my LinkedIn thing, it doesn't have the I don't know thing anymore.
It doesn't.
Yeah. I thought they did away with that a long time ago.
It's been about at least a year.
They got rid of I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's either ignore or
Yeah,
respond.
it's just ignore or accept.
so none of them give the 5 anymore? There's no choices
I don't
that
think
will-
so. I think they got so much static over that they kind of dropped it, to be honest with you. Do you know, Mike?
Well, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, I think there's just the two.
Yeah.
Because I get a lot of.
Or there's a link that you can send a message without linking. And that's a little hyperlinked underneath. You know, there's the big accept and the big ignore, and then underneath there's a little
send message.
reply, I think.
Reply.
And you can reply to them without actually connecting, and that's what I have used when I don't know